It's the JT the Brick Show.
This is the silver and black. This is the Raiders. This is a historic franchise. This is no ordinary job.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
I don't care if I offend somebody. If it isn't right, I'm going to stop practice. We're going to do it the right way.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, we are back. Norway just beat the Ivory Coast 2-1 and advance with a knockout win. How we doing today? What a day for sports. I'm double dipping today. This is the first minute of 5 hours of radio solo today. I'll do 2 here on Raider Nation Radio, 3 tonight on Mad Dog Sports Radio on Sirius XM. That's cool. Pretty cool to have multiple radio shows and an opportunity to give my opinions. Even did an Instagram live today when the Lebron James story broke. You can follow me on the Insta at JT the Brick LV. But we want to get people in our YouTube channel. If you're watching us now, and you should be for free on your phone, on your laptop, wherever you are, I'm wearing a USA former Olympic shirt and my brand new World Cup hat as I just returned from Los Angeles from the World Cup. I went to my first ever World Cup game, and we'll talk about that throughout the show. Thanks to Vinny Bonsignor, who hosted yesterday. Appreciate Vinny, and I appreciate everybody being back here. A lot of news to get to Friday night. I was the MC for the Max Crosby Foundation, so I spent some good time with Max and his wife, Rachel, and I'm the guy who has the Max news, not Diana Rossini, not other people. Not that news can break while I'm in the middle of talking if Max doesn't text me, but I'll dive into more and more of the fake news. Remember that term from years ago, Ari? Fake news? It's back when it comes to Max Crosby. Even when I'm sitting with Mark Davis and Max Crosby, there's fake news live about Max Crosby, and I'm right with him on stage, and people are clickbait. Clickbait. Come on, man. Leave Max alone, man. Let Max raise money, get back into the perfect shape that he's in. I'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. Hope everybody has a good weekend. Everybody's here and excited for what's going to happen with the 4th of July. Vegas is going to be the epicenter of the 4th of July, not Washington, D.C. L.A. fires off a lot of illegal fireworks. So if you want to count illegal fireworks, L.A. is without a doubt the leader in that category. No one's close to L.A., Los Angeles, in illegal fireworks. But from what I'm hearing, man, the Las Vegas fireworks show will be the biggest of all time. And Ari, my inbox is open for rooftop casino parties or any executives that want to, pour a nice bottle of wine and have me on their roof or balcony. Right, Ari? It's going to be a pretty big 4th of July from what we're hearing.
Yeah, I don't know anybody for you, unfortunately. Yeah, but, hey, hit the inbox for JT.
Yeah, sometimes that's when people slide into my ex-DMs when we get along. So I'm available. I'm available on the 4th of July. I'll bring some ice-cold Modelo's. Maybe a bottle of Casa Azul, all of our proud partners here. So we're going to have a fun week. Ari just reminded me that we are off on Friday.
Speaking of which.
Yes, for the 4th of July holiday. We are off for that. So we got a short week here, 3 shows right smack in the middle. Oh, and the World Cup tomorrow, USA. United States are playing at Levi Stadium, nowhere near San Francisco. That's a dirty little secret. The Niners play nowhere near San Francisco. They play in a town called Santa Clara, where they make you shut everything down at 11 at night, including the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones played there, and they pulled the cord at 11 p.m. There's not a lot of fun going on in Santa Clara, man. It's a glorified parking lot, but that's where the game's going to be. So if you're going to that game, have a lot of fun up there. So I'm going to get into my trip to L.A. for the World Cup, my commute. It was the first time I drove to L.A. since my 24-hour return ride from Costa Mesa Raiders training camp when the freeway was shut down due to a car battery fire, a lithium car battery fire, where I had to spend the night in Barstow. So I was really scarred by that. True story. I was scarred for 2 years, and we drove to Manhattan Beach and back and had a good time there. My wife and my son. It was really a bucket list moment for my young son, for both of us to be at the World Cup together, hanging out and watching that, and it was really spectacular. Not the greatest game. I saw Canada beat South Africa. It was like two MLS teams playing. There wasn't a lot of talent on the field at all, but the atmosphere inside and outside was great. I did put the Voodoo Boogaloo Hex. I put the Hex
I was gonna ask
on SoFi, yes. When I walked in, I put the Hex on it. There's no listen, this is what's weird about what's going on. There is no mention of anything other than FIFA at a stadium. I can do 2 hours of a podcast on that. There isn't an inch where someone forgot to cover up the Rams logo, the Chargers logo. No such thing as SoFi. Everything is covered and says FIFA or LA Stadium, which they should call it LA Stadium and not SoFi. Oh, also a reminder that the stadium is in Inglewood, in the hood. Always up to no good. Oh, it's in the hood, man. Our stadium where the Raiders play ain't in the hood. Okay? It's off the strip. It's on the other side of the 15 freeway, but it's pretty much the strip. You know, you could walk from the Four Seasons. Four Seasons is one of the greatest brands in the history of hotels. You can walk from the Four Seasons over the Hacienda Bridge to a Raider game where there's a torch for Al Davis. Everything's silver and black. There's a nightclub in the end zone. There's artwork everywhere. You might not like art, but a lot of people who pay that money love artwork. There's great art at Allegiant Stadium. When you go to see the Chargers or the Rams, the only thing around there that you would know of is Forum Liquor, a parking lot for Forum Liquor where guys are buying 18 packs and waiting for Ubers. Man, no disrespect, and I know it's coming across that way, but it's still Inglewood, man. It's still Inglewood, and they built a monster footprint. You got the Kia Forum, where Rush kicked off the first night for 4 nights of their tour. You have the Intuit Dome where the Clippers play. The Clippers might get rid of Kawhi Leonard. Good luck. Good luck selling tickets to the Intuit Dome where I guess you don't have to have a ticket. It's all face recognition there if you go there. And then you got SoFi. And seriously, SoFi is an amazing stadium. It is big. The screen, the wraparound screen is incredible, but it's not Allegiant Stadium. It's bigger. It's on a bigger footprint, but it's like a generic Walmart. I mean, I can't believe the Chargers play there. The Rams, what the Rams should do is just kick the Chargers out. They don't need the money. Just say, Chargers, get out. We're just going to make this thing all Rams and copy Mark Davis and change all of SoFi and just put the Rams logo everywhere, put Rams art on the wall, and just kick the Chargers out. Because that ain't no Chargers spot. I can tell you that. So I did put the Voodoo Boogaloo on it. I did a little hex, see if it works or not. The Bolts have been beating us, man, Kenny. Everybody, the Bolts have been beating us. We play there. I think it's the Charger home opener, right? For them, it's our road opener. Ooh, it's a tough spot. But I feel pretty good about the Raiders there. So I want to get into a couple of things as we begin. LeBron James is the show today. Yep, sorry. Don't got a lot of news other than hanging out with Max and my private conversation with Max and to see some of the players that were there, Brock Bowers and all that. There is no Raider news of significance, none. So if you need Raider news, you can go find it. Jesse Merrick's got a cool podcast. Levi, I got me. I can tell you whatever you need to know about the Raiders. Anything you need to know. The history of the Raiders, the current roster of the Raiders, but I don't do fake Raiders. I'm not going to sit here. We are not breaking down the linebacker position group today. I choose not to do that. LeBron is the topic, and then I'll mix in what I learned about the Raiders on Friday night. So, man, do we got an uncomfortable topic for those Warrior fans, man, which a lot of them are Raider fans. More Raider fans or Warrior fans, and there's a lot of Laker fans. So this is a really good topic for the phones today. But I have to remind you that our phones work and we take phone calls, right? 702-365-9200. You should have a phone call put together on LeBron right now, and it shouldn't take you long to put it together. But what I love about this topic is, as of this moment, he could be going to the Warriors by the end of the day. And Warrior fans are going to be so uncomfortable to have to welcome LeBron. And they'll lie to you, the Warrior fans, and tell them they won't. Warrior fans are like, no, we'll welcome LeBron. No, I was in the building when LeBron beat your ass in Cleveland and said, Cleveland, I love you, Cleveland. And all of a sudden, you Warrior fans are going to start buying LeBron jerseys? Really? What are you going to do, trade in your Clay jersey from a few years ago and buy LeBron jerseys? So what I love about sports radio is from time to time, you get a very uncomfortable topic. I mean, last year I was uncomfortable all year long. The Raiders only won 3 games. I'm interviewing the coach. I'm interviewing the players. I'm interviewing everybody. You don't think I was uncomfortable? They couldn't win a game. They couldn't beat anybody. They couldn't run a play on offense. They couldn't run a 7-yard out route last year. You don't think I know how to do uncomfortable radio? I did it last year. I'll do it again, but I don't think I'm going to have to this year. I think the Raiders are going to be vastly improved. But here we go. And Big D makes a good point here in the YouTube chat. He said, it didn't bother me when Jerry Rice came to the Raiders. Won't bother me if Braun comes to the Dubs. That's a really good comment. It's very similar to that, isn't it? Jerry Rice, the greatest football player on the Mount Rushmore, going to the Raiders where he played in a Super Bowl. And LeBron, who's arguably the greatest player of all time, or top 2, no farther down than top 3, going to the Warriors. But it is uncomfortable because Warrior fans, a lot of them don't want this deal. Raise your hand and beep your horn today if you're a Warrior fan and you want LeBron. Bueller? Anybody? Call the show. I got an open line. Call my show and say, I'm in Hayward, California. I'm in West Oakland. I'm sitting around there in Dublin or San Francisco, and I want LeBron James. Really? No, you wanted Durant. Let's get this straight because I was there for that. You don't want LeBron. You've been trashing LeBron James on 95.7 The Game and KNBR. You've been trashing LeBron James for 15 years. And now all of a sudden you want to line up and have a parade for LeBron. Okay. I think it's an interesting topic, and my job is to find interesting topics. I think that's an interesting one. You know, Ari, this is the first time I don't have to worry about this because my Knicks won the title. So my Knicks have won because you know what I would want? I'm dead serious. I would want LeBron on the Knicks.
Right.
If they didn't win this year, I'd be saying, wait, we still haven't won? Get me LeBron on a mid-level exemption for one season. I don't have to worry about that.
That'll push us over, yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to not have that worry, right?
I finally don't have to have that worry. But I want to hear from Laker fans because there's a lot of Laker fans, a lot of Dodger fans. You know, Harry Ruiz, Paul Gutierrez, they double dip. They like them both. You like the Lakers, you like the Dodgers, and now LeBron is leaving. In all seriousness, LeBron James will go down as a great Laker. He will. Let me explain to you why. He won a championship with the Lakers. It was legit. It was a really good championship. It was during COVID where players had to deal with mental health, people dying. True story. I lost a couple of friends. You know him in the Raider Nation pretty well. One of my best friends from COVID. People died all around the world, and basketball players had to play in a bubble. All the games, same minutes, same amount of timeouts, same games, but they couldn't have their family come to the games. Mental health, they were in a lockdown bubble, and they couldn't leave. That was pretty tough. And LeBron won a title there, and there's no asterisks. That's a big title. LeBron James broke every significant record in the history of the NBA in the purple and gold. The all-time scoring record over Kareem. All time. He did it as a Laker. The all-time playoff scoring record as a Laker. Pretty good when you're sitting in your trophy room and going, I broke all these records as a Laker. I'm looking into the camera. LeBron James's number will be retired, and he will get a statue. Yes, they give out a lot of statues. Oscar De La Hoya has one. Pat Riley just got one. Kobe, you know, the great Kobe, Shaq, Wayne Gretzky. LeBron is going to get a statue outside Crypto. When are they going to take that name away, too? You've been watching the Crypto lately? You've been watching Crypto lately? All the Crypto boys out there? Good luck with that. So, with all that being said, LeBron is not retiring a Laker. Okay, he's leaving the Lakers. Oh, and here's a big one. He's doing it on his terms. Now, we don't know how accurate this is, but LeBron put out through Rich Paul that he was leaving the Lakers to play for another team. He didn't wait for the Lakers to put something out and say, goodbye, you're out of here. So LeBron won that early PR battle. But guess what's going to happen here? Because I lived in L.A., just got back from there. They are definitely going to go after each other. I can promise you with every ounce of energy that I have that at some point this year, the Lakers and LeBron are going to have a media war. LeBron's going to say something on a podcast disrespecting the Lakers. The Lakers are going to leak something out that they didn't want LeBron. Oh, boy, is it going to get good. It's going to get really good. That's coming, I can promise you. IBM, what's up? So with all that being said, this is going down. It's going down. And I think it's interesting. Shawn from earlier today on the breaking news announcing LeBron is out as a Laker.
I'm told happiness is the biggest factor in his decision to leave the Lakers and to go elsewhere. Wherever he ends up, it's about where will he and his family be happy. From my understanding, it's not going to be a money-driven decision. This past year, we saw LeBron James at the age of 41 lead the Lakers out of the first round without Luka Doncic, without Austin Reeves. But this has been a Lakers organization that has been trending in different priorities right around Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves. And so today, LeBron James, there's a lot surrounding this decision. And whether he was going to stay or leave, he decides to let them know on the eve of free agency, he will be moving on, and so should they.
Shawn Sharania, ESPN. He decided to let them know he's leaving. What a great control freak he is. Bravo. Cisco says, I don't want LaFlop on my Dubs. Well, you might get him, Cisco. You might get him there in the heart down there of the dog district. Dog patch. You might be walking into your building to see him. So I think I give LeBron a lot of credit for handling this well. And maybe Rich Paul and LeBron would talk to Jeannie, and Jeannie's like, shh, hey, I'm not the owner anymore. They're not gonna give you the deal. So put it out. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's all gonna come out in the wash. So we'll see. It's a big story. The World Cup is going on. LeBron James opts out of the Lakers. Hallelujah. It's great to be a sports talk radio host because the summer, for a lot of people, stinks on sports radio. People hide. Everybody should take all their vacation in the summer. If you live in Vegas, we get to 115 degrees. You better take some time off. But this is a good time to be on. This is going to be a good week. The United States plays on Wednesday. My Yankees are in a free fall. They've lost 5 in a row. LeBron, NBA free agency. Kawhi could be going back to Toronto. Jaylen Brown could be going to Portland. Who knows? All of this is good. This is really good sports radio content, man. No doubt. Scotty Scheffler lost to Victor Hovland Monday in a playoff. But for those who say the Lakers' future looks bright, what? What? How does your future look bright with SGA and Wemby? How the hell does your future look bright in L.A.? Who's walking through that door who's better than LeBron? Look, I've said it before. I would not give LeBron an offer because he's old. But that's like the Patriot fan saying, Tom Brady's gone. Our future's really bright. Oh, yeah? How'd that work out when he went to Tampa and got himself a ring? Now, fortunately for the Patriots, if you're a Patriot fan, they went to the Super Bowl last year. I don't think they're going back anytime soon. So I'm loving this today, man. This is a good day to interact. My buddy Shawn Garrity's coming in studio. There's a big sports conference out here that we're going to help promote called CCon, which is a combination of Syracuse University, UNLV. I'm telling you, if you end up going to this thing, you will see celebrities and athletes, and it's going to be a big event. So I'll tell you all about it, where it is, tickets, and all that coming up. We're going to do a little bit of business here at the top of the hour. We're doing business off the radio. We got a lot of new partners that I'm going to be announcing in the next week or two. It's a good time to be here at Lotus Broadcasting. Ari's in for me for the remainder of the week as Clay's taking some time off, and Clay will be back. Ben in Denver, you could start us off. Ben, what's happening today? Thanks for checking in.
Hey, thanks, JT. Love the show. I haven't checked in a while, ever since the World Cup started, but I had to check in today once I heard the news about LeBron. JT, I didn't know you were the president of the LeBron James Club. I mean, this is some of the stuff you're saying. It's a bit inaccurate. The bubble season, they didn't play a full 82 game season. They played 63 games.
63. I was thinking of baseball at 60, 80, which was far less than the percentage there, and then the full playoffs. You're right. But I don't have an asterisk on it because I give a lot of respect for what they had to do in the bubble.
Yeah, I mean, I respect your opinion on that, but I mean, it was a bubble. It was a bubble ring. There was no parade that year. I don't even think. I mean,
Dude, there was COVID. There was COVID. There wasn't going to be a parade. We're in the middle of COVID. Come on, man. We had a worldwide pandemic, man. There was going to be no parade.
I get that. I understand that. But here, today, for real Laker fans, not some of the guys that come out on ESPN and, Damian Woody, who says he's a Laker fan, even though he was born in New Jersey or whatever. For real Laker fans, this is a day of celebration. Finally, hopefully, real Laker fans, we can get our team back and move on from this guy. The only thing I hope is that they take his son, too. Can you take his son and throw him somewhere? I don't know. I don't care where he goes.
You don't like Bronny either. Bronny, a good kid. He's getting married soon. Nice kid. Never got arrested. Never in trouble. Never a bad kid. And what about last year, Ben, when no one on the Lakers showed up and Luka was hurt the whole time and LeBron was carrying the team with 27 a night with no Anthony Davis? You're not going to give him any credit for that?
Definitely not. Ever since LeBron joined the Lakers, my son's a great kid too. He just graduated high school. He's going to go to college. Doesn't mean he's going to play for the Lakers. Doesn't mean he just. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, again, day of celebration. Right. My Mexico plays tonight in the World Cup, and now if Mexico can win tonight, it's just party time, baby. Okay. Modelo's. All right. Tequila, all that.
All right, have fun, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't want to use the right word. I don't respect people who don't give LeBron any respect. I enjoy your phone call, and I respect you supporting my show. But the point I'm making is to look at LeBron's success as a billionaire, winning 4 titles as the all-time scoring leader, and to say it's a celebration that he's leaving. I watch a lot of Laker games. Lakers aren't any good. LeBron's the best player on the team for quite some time. Let's see Luka come into shape one off season. Let's see Luka come in shape one off season. Well, this is going to be interesting for the Lakers now because a lot of people, I talked to Scott Kaplan from ESPN LA on my show last night, and he made an interesting point. The clock starts today on Luka because the Lakers are claiming they're going to rebuild around Luka after they get rid of LeBron, which is fair and good. Okay, now how's that going to start? Who are they going to get? Who's available to go play? Who's available to go play with Luka and start bringing him championships? I don't have the answer. Giannis would have been good. Giannis is a hell of a player. Not a lot of guys just sitting on the beach who want to go play for the Lakers right now. The following year, possibly. The following year, yeah, I think that the Lakers could go out and get free agents, but who are they going to get now that's really going to move the needle? Well, let's get out to Paul in Oaktown. Paul, thanks for waiting. You're up next. Go ahead.
All right. I'm born and raised in Oakland, Raiders, A's, Warriors. Mm-hmm. Hell no, that guy can't come to the Warriors, man. He's going to ruin another franchise, that guy. Where's he been?
How does he ruin franchises when he won in Cleveland? Hold on. He won in Cleveland, he won in Miami twice, and he won in L.A. Where has he ruined these franchises? He didn't play in Portland, Sacramento, and Memphis. Who the hell is he? He won Olympic gold medals. He didn't ruin the Olympic team. Who's he ruining?
By himself? No, he leaves them franchises and leaves them in shambles and goes somewhere else. He was going to be compared to Jordan. There's no way. Jordan stayed everywhere he went.
What about when Jordan quit on his teammates and went and played baseball in Birmingham, Alabama, and couldn't hit a curveball? What did he do to his teammates then?
He took a gambling problem. That's why.
No, you don't know. You know that's an assumption. That's an assumption. But he left for 2 years. But that's fair.
LeBron, why are you such a homer on that guy?
I'm not a homer. I'm just giving him respect. He's the all-time leading scorer. He's arguably one of the greatest players ever. You're giving him no respect, and I'm giving him some respect.
He should be everything, rebound, scoring, everything after 23 years, man. But how many championships does he have?
He's got 4. He's got 4 championships. How many does Steph have? How many does Steph have?
4 out of 10, man.
All right, so LeBron's got 4, and you're mocking the 4 rings? Like, how many rings have you won?
Okay, now he's going to it's Curry's team. Curry's got all these.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that being Curry's team.
Curry to get another ring, man. That guy's a fucking
punk. You absolute punk. You couldn't even finish a call. I just roasted that guy, roasted him off the radio because he couldn't put a phone call together until he melted down. He even knocked the Wi-Fi out.
That's almost worse.
I've been gone for 3 or 4 days, and the Wi-Fi's down? Okay. All right, we'll do that. Hang with us, bricklayers. Man, that guy got upset with me. Wow. I'm a LeBron homer. I guess he doesn't know who JT the Nick is. JT the Brick rhymes with the Knicks, who just won the title. I guess he thinks I'm a LeBron homer. No, the difference between me and that knucklehead is I respect the greatness of all athletes, even the ones I don't like. That's the difference between me and everybody else. I still respect Pete Carroll, even though some fans hate him or don't like him. I respect him. There's a difference between what I do and what others do. I respect everybody, even though I don't like them. I used the example earlier today of Tyreek Hill. Right, Tyreek Hill. I don't love Tyreek Hill, do you? I don't. I respect his accomplishments and what he's done and everything he was able to do. So when it comes to that, you have to have a level of respect. And I'm shocked by the lack of respect for LeBron James. So let's start all over again and get a new batch of calls in here that could either yell at me or say I'm a homer or do whatever we want to do here because I'm having fun today. I am not a fan of LeBron James, but I put respect on his name. That's what I'm doing. And today I think is a good day to say, you know, what I would do if I was a Laker fan, and I'm not saying you have to do this, but if I was a Laker fan, I would call in and say, you know, I'm happy LeBron's gone. I think we're going to do better. We took LeBron to the end of the universe as an aging player. He played great last year. He carried us to the playoffs. He's had a great run. He's still playing, and I'm happy he's gone, but respect to LeBron James. That's what I would do. But if you're more triggered and worked up and just nuts about hating LeBron James, that makes for entertaining radio. You can do anything you want. 702-365-9200. The monologue brought to you by Modelo, the fighting spirit of Modelo. I have a bucket of Modelo's. I'll probably have a few on Wednesday for USA soccer, as I think they'll advance at least one more round. Good to be back. Thanks again to Vinny, who sat in yesterday. I got Ari here. I'm open today without guests because I didn't want to book any because I knew it was a big day to talk to you. JT, live from Vegas.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by The Black Hole. Become a member of football's most notorious fans.
I do believe that the Warriors want LeBron James. And I do believe that they worked with Draymond Green in this contract opt-out yesterday to make LeBron James an offer. What I don't know is whether they will be able to execute and get that done. And they're going to try to get that done today. And frankly, the Lakers would like to be able to have clarity from LeBron today, too, whether he's either going to stay or go so they can handle their business.
That's Brian Windhorst on the Warriors, in his opinion, in pursuit of LeBron James. JT, back with you. We're brought to you by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, proud partner of the show. They got a lot of big promotions coming up here. National Chicken Fingers Day is coming up. A great tie-in with Chuck Norris, the legendary martial arts legend, all coming up here. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, they make that amazing sauce in studio and in the stores every day, and it's just fantastic. So go check it out. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love. All right, so LeBron James is the topic today. If you're a Warrior fan, you better get your blank together. If you're a Warrior fan, you better get your story together when you're at the bar. Okay, you got to get this together. If you're going to Ricky's or you're going to the North Star in San Francisco, one of my favorite spots, you're walking around at the airport bar and someone comes up to you and says, hey, you're a Warrior fan, right? What do you think of LeBron? You better have your script on your phone. And it's going to be one of two things. It's going to be like, yeah, I'm not a LeBron fan. I root for the Warriors. Whoever plays on the Warriors, I want to win. That would be the right answer. I don't think there's going to be a lot of Warrior fans who are going to sell their season tickets. But I know Warrior fans, and I know them well. And Warrior fans do not want LeBron James. This is not something they've wanted. And if it happens, they get him. And sometimes you get a player on your team you just don't like. And just be careful because it could happen. And I'm in a pretty important position here in town on the radio, and I know that the Raiders, there's a tiny chance, a small chance that they could get Stephon Diggs, Brandon Ayuk, Tyreek Hill. And something could happen. It's much more important than me. And, I root for the colors, the silver and black, the Raider Nation. So there are times, that's a pretty good topic I just came up with. Who's the one player you never want to play on your team? Who's the one player in your life that you would say, no way, I want him on my team? Right? It's a good one. Think about it. Who? Who's that player that you said, no way? Brett Favre played with the Vikings. That's probably the biggest name ever in this category. Brett Favre was a legend with the Packers. The Vikings hate the Packers hate the Vikings. Favre played pretty well until a big interception. Why did you ponder passing? Remember that interception against New Orleans, right? That was big. But I'm a Yankee fan. I never had to root for Big Papi. Big Papi never played for my Yankees. But from time to time, you have an enemy come to your team, and you got to deal with that. And I know that this guy's been an enemy. Oh, he's been an enemy of the Warriors for a long time because I've been here taking those phone calls. 702-365-9200 on LeBron. And if you don't think LeBron's going to the Warriors, I've said Cleveland to me is the best fit. So Kendrick Perkins is doing a spot right now. Big perks, big list of LeBron destinations. When he gets to all of them, we'll go through them with you. At number 5, he said the Knicks. And the Knicks, that would be ring chasing at its ultimate best. But we'll go through some of these as they pop up. Let's get out to Houston. He's in L.A. on this big L.A. breaking news topic today. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, first of all, respect to LeBron James. I'm very glad he got us the ring and all that good stuff. But you got individual accolades, and then you have team accolades. Now, before LeBron can't get a statue in crypto because, first of all, James Worthy doesn't even have a statue in crypto. And James Worthy's done way more.
Yeah, I would say that Worthy is going to get a statue too, and that's nice because I appreciate it. I think that Worthy should have a statue there as an all-time great Laker. Very good point.
Right, and I mean, I'm thankful for the ring he got the Lakers, and all that good stuff. He's a great player, but the Lakers are going to reload and get the Joker, baby.
Yeah, well, in order for you to get the Joker, you're going to have to do a deal with Denver. Why would Denver and Stan Kroenke, the most successful owner now in sports, get rid of the Joker?
Just wishful thinking, JP.
I know.
That's all.
All right, buddy. Your phone keeps dropping. Thanks for the call. Appreciate you checking in. That opens up a line for you. I should never have an open line. It's it's shocking to me whenever I have an open line. So if you'd like to get through on the destination for LeBron James, 702-365-9200. Kendrick Perkins said at number 5, the Knicks. At number 4, the Heat. Going back to the Heat, it's not that far-fetched to play with Bam Adebayo and Giannis Antetokounmpo because they don't have much on that team. The Timberwolves would be a good fit personnel-wise, but I don't think LeBron wants to spend any time hanging out in cold Minneapolis. Cleveland, I think, is the best fit. And the most important fit for Perk is the Warriors. And the Warriors, from all indications, the Warriors want to do this deal. Mike Dunleavy Jr., okay, who's in charge up there of basketball operations, their de facto GM. When you look for filling in for Bob Myers, who won all those championships, and you look at what happened up there, he wants to splash. These GMs get fired every day. Every day. Christopher Anderson on YouTube said, JT, the one player who could never play for the Raiders is Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers, and he wouldn't play for the Raiders. That's the answer to the bar trivia. What individual player has beaten the Raiders more than any player in NFL history? Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers has the most career wins as a player against the Raiders. And I believe number 2 all time. History since 1960 is LaDainian Tomlinson. Think of that. And they have no rings to show for it. None. I would assume Kansas City's coming on strong. If Mahomes and Kelsey and those guys are definitely coming on strong with that. No doubt about it. But all of a sudden, the Warriors, everybody's talking about the Warriors, man. Warriors for LeBron. And I know the Warriors pretty well. Since when the hell have the Warriors been in the LeBron James business? Until today, about 6 hours ago. Now all of a sudden, Windy Windhorse is saying, yeah, they want to do the deal today. And Shams is saying, yeah, that's the team. Okay. They know the NBA. They got contacts with the agents. Pepe from Vegas here on 920. What's happening, man?
What's up, JT? I just want to thank you for everything you're doing for all the Raider fans. But also, too, I want to thank LeBron for the 17th champion. And, I'm kind of glad it's going to be the Luka era now. But I just want to say, can you imagine if the Miami Heat won the NBA championship bubble? You think people would be saying that about the Miami Heat if they won it? But no, the Lakers won it in Game 7.
Yeah, I gave a lot of respect. I put a lot of respect on the bubble because of how difficult it was. I was doing 4 hours of radio at night with no sports. I should have got some type of Marconi award for what I had to do, talking about sports when there were no games being played, and when they were able to let them play. I knew how tough. I watched all those LeBron bubble games. That was not an easy ring, man. That took a lot out of everybody physically and mentally. You remember that.
Yeah, we all needed that, man. Honestly, imagine that. It kind of reminded me why we actually even have sports, because everything was going crazy in America, and then all of a sudden, boom, and we're back to normal, man. Honestly, people like me and you, we can't live without sports.
Yeah, we can't. And so what do you think LeBron ends up?
I think everybody's saying Warriors, but I think that if he ever wants to go to the finals again, man, it's a gauntlet in the West. Going to the Warriors, he's going to have the same issue. He won't ever see the finals again. So I think he's got to go to the Eastern Conference and go to the Miami Heat or back and end it all in Cleveland and do a sign and trade so we could bring their center over here to the Lakers. I'm blanking out on his name, but he'd be a perfect fit if they do a sign and trade.
Yeah, that's a great phone call. Thank you. If they do a sign and trade and there's another team that facilitates this, I'm going to be pretty upset. It's tough to do a straight-up trade because LeBron James, there's not a lot of teams that have money to give LeBron $30 million. He's not going to get $40 or $50 million unless there's a sign and trade. And I don't know what team that's not going to get LeBron James would facilitate a deal to send LeBron James somewhere else. I don't know that. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. But I think LeBron's not going to play. If James Harden's playing for $50 million, LeBron's not going to play for $5. Okay? We all get that. LeBron's not going to play for $5 if Harden's playing for $50 million. Kawhi's playing for $50 million. Steph's playing for isn't Steph? Someone put it in the chat. What's Steph get this year? $57 million? You think LeBron's going to go to the Warriors with Steph getting $57 million? And then all of a sudden LeBron's going to play for 5.7? No, that's
62.5 fully guaranteed.
$62 million fully guaranteed for Steph. Wow, $62 million. I bet you he doesn't play 62 games this year. I don't, because he's been getting banged up. I don't root for injuries. Steph is participating now in load management. If they bring back this team, if the 5 guys who play for the Lakers are Steph, Draymond, then you get LeBron, Anthony Davis is the 4th. That's the big 4. So you look at those guys, they're going to be load managing. They're not going to play every game. LeBron load managed last year. And they're at the very end of their career. Draymond's at the extreme end of his career. So's LeBron. And I think LeBron's actually in better shape than Draymond. Steph is near the end of his career, but I think as a shooter, Steph's got probably 3 or 4 years left in the league, 2 or 3 at a very high level. And then you look at Anthony Davis, and he's a China doll. You know he's going to get hurt. You always know that he's going to get hurt. So if they're going to go out and do that, it's going to be a scenario where you're going to see some guys get banged up, some guys get hurt, and some load management. I can tell you who the happiest guy is today is J.J. Redick. J.J. Redick's happy today. He doesn't have to deal with LeBron. Doesn't have to travel with LeBron. Doesn't have to get on the bus. And I know he did a podcast with him, and they probably have a pretty good relationship. But J.J. Redick today was able to hit a button called the reset button. He is able to go to Laker fans and say, we were pretty good. J.J. Redick, pretty good head coach. They did all right with LeBron. And J.J. Redick could go back to every Laker fan and say, we're going to start new with Luka. I need a year or 2 to get this team up and running. And when he does, he gets an opportunity for a year or 2 to get him going. And it should take a little bit of the heat off. Serena Williams is trailing in the first round of Wimbledon. She lost the first set 6-3. And she's losing 4-3 in the second. So she is on the verge of elimination with this. I don't call it a stunt. Serena still wants to play tennis. More power to her. More power to her there. So top of the hour, we're going to do some business. My buddy Shawn Garrity will come in studio. We'll tell you about CCon. It's over at the Bellagio. It's a tech conference with sports, visionaries, healthcare, academics. Great for young students and especially those who are looking to get a job. This is really cool to go to, and CCon has grown into a significant gathering of leaders across entertainment, sports, technology, and it's going to be a lot of fun here. So we'll tell you a little bit about that, and then I'll dive into my trip to L.A. where I saw the World Cup. And coming up next, my conversation with Max Crosby and Rachel Crosby. And Rachel. And we talked about them being back and what Vegas means to them, as we raised a lot of money for the Max Crosby Foundation. Cool story about Dana White that night, too, that I think you want to hear about Vegas coming together for a great cause as we continue on the flagship of the Silver and Black, brought to you by Boyd Gaming. Always bet on black.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
Now this would be a lovely time to score a goal if you're Canadian. Schaffelberg, away by Ocon, on the strike from Eustachio!
All right, World Cup soccer goals from a female play-by-play gal. Nice. I like the guy who says, "Go! Go! Go, 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 go! Go!" That's on to 10 talk. Pretty good, huh?
That was impressive.
That's good.
Especially after an hour of talking. Still got it. Nice.
Yes. Yeah, I like when the goals come. So I'm back from a nice trip. I'll tell you about that when we got some time. Next hour, my buddy Shawn Garrity's coming in. We're going to talk business and sports. If you got a kid looking for a job, raise your hand, beep your horn. You got a son, girl coming out of college. This job market's a mess. It's a mess. I hope your kid has a job. My kids are hustlers. It's hard out there. You want to hear this interview coming up here in a few minutes from a made guy, a guy that I really respect a lot. So Friday night, I MC the Max Crosby Foundation event. Chet Buchanan, you should know Chet. He's a big radio guy, philanthropist in town. He was the auctioneer. Mark Davis bought a safe, a walk-in safe for $25,000 that Mark gave to the foundation. They didn't bid that high. Mark did to throw money into the foundation, which is very generous that Mark gave Max the opportunity to have his event at, the Torch, and we were all there for that, which was really nice. So I sat down, I walked in with Max and Rachel, and was talking to Rachel about the Baltimore experience, all private conversation about how Max was treated in Baltimore, not for the radio at all. And the fact that they're so happy to be back is they're doing so much in the community when it comes to trying to save pets, pit bull rescues. They wrote a $100,000 check to a couple of different, it was $25,000 checks to Mission High School. They were just check after check that Max and Rachel got on stage with. So I'm sitting there, and I get my buddy Bert Tremblay, who's putting the event together, pulls me aside, and he goes, "Dana White might be here any minute, or he might not." So Dana White, but he bought a table for UFC, and there were a bunch of UFC people there. Anyway, Dana White couldn't make it, and he FaceTimed Max on stage. So FaceTime Dana White. He gave $100,000 to the charity. $100,000. And then another gentleman who was with Dana White on the same FaceTime gave $25,000. So it was pretty cool when it came to that. It was actually pretty impressive. And I was really excited and proud to be a part of that. So when I was talking to Max after the event, we took a nice photo or two with Mark Davis, and he just wants to prove himself. Said, "Any message to Raider Nation? Say I love him, man. I love him. I'm happy to be here." And he's ready to go. So I'm in L.A., and I'm reading on the beach, which I should have had my phone away. Oh, Max Crosby, the Niners, this and that. That's not going to end. And I'm not here today to tell you that. I'm not here today to predict that Max Crosby won't be traded ever, or Max Crosby's going to play his whole career with the Raiders. I'm past that. okay? But I told you that Max was going nowhere, and he went nowhere. And I had a wise ass who came at me on X and said, well, you were wrong. He got traded to Baltimore. No, he didn't get traded. No ink and deal was made. So if you want to be really down to the dot the I, cross the T, they made Max sit in the lobby with Rachel in Baltimore, made him sweat and sit there. No intention of doing a deal with Max after making him fly cross-country commercial. And you're saying, well, how's that big a deal? Well, when you fly into D.C. instead of Baltimore, guys like Max Crosby have private jets sent for them. Baltimore did Max dirty. And you know what the Raiders did? The Raiders took him back. The intention of the Raiders always was not, we got to trade Max. Max wants to play for a winner. It got a little bit interesting there. Max was okay. He moved on, and the deal didn't happen. So the deal never happened. But he got done dirty by Baltimore, and he's happy to be here. And he wants to win. And I find this a really unique topic going forward. How is Max Crosby going to stay here if the Raiders don't win? Max doesn't have 3 more years to wait. Like he could restructure his contract and get to the point where 2 years from now, it's his 3rd year of waiting for Fernando and this team to get to the playoffs or win. Max wants to win right now. And his defensive teammates, a few who I met at the gala, they want to win now too, including Brock Bowers, who I got a chance to say hello with. So it was a nice night for Max Crosby and his foundation. To learn more about it, just follow Max Crosby's foundation and see what he's doing in the community. It's well done.
It's the JT the Brick Show.
You just get up every day and you take one step at a time and you keep going and you show up. We have a big mountain to climb, but we're not trying to do it all in one day.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
It's really important to me that we're a gritty team, that the way that they were back in the old days. It's nothing that we say, it's what we do on the field. All the little things that win that have nothing to do with scheme.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
JT with you along with Ari. Got a lot to get to today. Final hour of the show, the breaking news. LeBron James has opted kind of out of the Lakers. He told the Lakers he will not play for him this year. The Lakers didn't tell him. He told the Lakers. True story. There might be more to that story. We'll find out. But LeBron could be a Warrior. It seems like the Warriors are the front runner to get him. And I got a lot of Warrior fans that stream this show. You could watch it live here as we are in studio in Las Vegas on YouTube at JT the Brick YT. That's our YouTube channel. Please subscribe for free. We're also live on Facebook. So if you want to do that, usually we do Facebook on Mondays because Mondays is Mendoza Monday, and that's brought to you by the DeCastroverde Law Group, the great Alex and Orlando DeCastroverde. So if you get into an accident, you get injured in an accident, the DeCastroverde Law Group, that's the place for you. So we put them up on Facebook, and we have them all right here, and we thank them. So if you need an accident attorney, an injury attorney, you could go to the DeCastroverde Law Group, and they will get us going, and we got a lot to get to there. Ari, real quick, before I bring in our guest, tell us about the summer promotion we have going on here at Lotus.
The Summer of Fun is back. It's ESPN Las Vegas, Raider Nation Radio at 920 and Terribles bringing it back for us. You can win a trip to South Dakota. It's very simple. Just text the word of the day in right now to 702-365-9200. That word is white, W-H-I-T-E, white.
Love it. Thank you very much. My buddy Shawn Garrity, who I go way back with, is back with CCon for the 3rd year. Thanks for coming in studio.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Good to have you. And tell me about this 3rd annual, because I've been there, and I just love the fact. I was saying before you came in here, if you're a young person looking to get a job, you want to get into the business, you want to make connections when it comes to sports, entertainment, education, technology, and the way you were able to help put this together with Syracuse and UNLV, and it seems like it's thriving.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we've been very grateful for your support and really the Las Vegas community, UNLV Sports Innovation Institute with Jay Vickers. Really great partnership. And we will say the biggest goal for us and the most important person at our conference isn't there. It's an 8-year-old boy or girl out in the community that needs to find their way to us. So as our people leave, we want them to know you don't have to hit a home run or score the goal or do any of those things. You just have to get good grades, graduate, get to the right opportunities, and we'd love to have a new generation of people in our industry.
What I love about this, you're a former football player from Syracuse. You're a successful businessman. When you thought about this and Vegas and this opportunity, what was missing in this community that you said this would be perfect with CCON to bring it here and help? What was the initial goal?
Well, you've been here since the beginning. And at the end of the day, really with Jay Vickers and UNLV Sports Innovation Institute, it came out with Peter Dropic and Lawrence Epstein as I was a fledgling new department actually at UNLV that now has become its own program. With everything you see here now, with the Sphere, the Golden Knights, the Raiders, and more coming, the city's infrastructure educationally needs to train and matriculate new professionals that are ready to go into internships. And I think we really shaped it to where Las Vegas is and going to make sure our community has the next generation of people that are equipped and prepared to become the next thought leaders in our industry.
Our sons grew up together, so we know they're roughly the same age. And I've been talking about my two sons, and they're grinders, and they have jobs, and they're hustling to make it. But I've been noticing the last 2 or 3 work classes, college graduating classes, are struggling because of the economy, what's happening with AI, and this is something you're embracing. You're out in front of AI. You have panels that are discussing this. So let's talk about a couple of the panels that you're excited to see before we get to the location and tickets on this. And if someone comes and wants to come and be a part of this and show up and buy a ticket, what will they see at some of these panels?
It's a great question. As you look at it, just society in general, whether it's sports or just general business and academia, these students are paying a lot of money. Their families are paying a lot of money to get these educations. But as they're coming out into the job force, the workplace, the flattening of AI is very much disrupting things and at a very accelerated pace. So from our perspective, when you think about health and wellness and the societal elements, it's a big part. How's your makeup? How are you dealing with this? How are you prepared? Before you even think about the applications of the technology. So a lot of our conference, you have Lee Steinberg, our resident Jerry Maguire, great man, and he's been very focused in brain health, health sciences. So we do have a very strong medicinal and therapeutic aspect of health, wellness, recuperative, regenerative sciences. And then you look at your pure AI when it comes to marketing, analysis, creative, real-time content, influence. Those are the things that we're looking at, is to accelerate the education, the collaboration, and really to get to this level of what AI is already offering. People think it's coming. It's already here.
No, it is. Shawn Garrity is our guest, and we were talking about this emerging technology along with AI. Give me an example of some other emerging technologies, because, again, my sons are 25 and 23. They got a little bit of AI going on in their jobs, but people I don't think should be afraid of AI. I think there are kids that are writing code. There are kids that are starting to learn about this. And I'm noticing how smart they are, but these other emerging technologies and the panelists you're going to have that want to embrace this, what are they going to be discussing?
Well, I'll feature one, and it's not bragging on your son, which I love to do, but John and Interstate 15, and they're partners with Praxis AI, is digital twin technology. For you yourself, it is developing that digital twin of yourself. We did a great event around with FanPre around F1. You were kind enough to let us feature, but we had Ramon Grosjean, and it was his digital twin. And what artificial intelligence can do, you're basically in 200 languages. You're able to engage your fans, engage your marketplaces, extend your voice, and it's literally working and breathing and operating while you're sleeping. And that is something Interstate 15 and Praxis AI will be featured and showcasing in our Creator Studio Expo.
This is great. So let me talk about some of the keynote speakers, because the opportunity I've had to do that in the past, or when I get a chance to introduce them, that's why I love conferences like this. Oh, my God, you look at the list and you say, there's a keynote speaker at 10:30. Then there's someone else I want to hear at 1. What is the flow now like at the Bellagio as you go there, as you put this together for people who that might be more interested in one panel more so than another as they make their decision?
Well, it is tough. We hear it all the time that there's so many going on at one time. It's like I can't be at all of them at once, so they're having that FOMO a bit. But think about Bellagio; it's world class, nowhere better.
What a partner!
They're great partners to work with. But the way we have it laid out from our ballrooms, we have those going twice a day, mid-morning, mid-afternoon. Nothing competes with the keynotes. We don't want anyone to miss those. But then we have a whole series of breakout sessions throughout the day in our performance areas. We have a very big golf-centric area with 3 very large simulator setups. So again, with performance tech, gamification, wagering with our partners at Even Play, a great Las Vegas company. a lot to see across the board.
You know, we were talking about the fact that you have a golf event over at Shadow Creek.
Yeah.
9 holes at night. So fully transparent on this. I work at night. I played Shadow Creek my time out here probably 8 or 9 times with Coaches vs. Cancer. And when they were putting up the lights at Shadow Creek, I said, I don't know about this. But then I know that the clientele and golfers want to be able to golf at night.
Yeah.
And you were able to put a deal together with that. That sounds really unique. Tell me about that.
Well, again, thanks to our partners at MGM. You know, that's an MGM-owned property,
Yes.
an impossible get.
Yeah.
So allowing our guests, select guests, and our invitation-only foursomes shotgun is to be out there at night. It is July. We don't want to ignore that fact. So I think people are grateful. Nighttime golfing under the lights and delivering guest experiences only MGM and Shadow Creek can do.
How proud are you, Shawn Garrity, to put this deal together with the first year I went, you had a mixer going on at Virgin, and a whole bunch of people came from Syracuse, and you connected them with a whole bunch of people from UNLV. And I'm proud to say I wrote a book about my former mentor who passed away, Andrew Ashwood, called The Handoff. And his nickname was the Gorilla because he was a connector and really connected people to the point where that was his nickname. I consider you another great connector. You want to connect people. So when you show up at this event, you're putting it together with your team behind the scenes. What is that like when you walk into a room and you want to connect Lee Steinberg with a 21-year-old student, or you want to connect a potential business partner with someone else who's in from out of town? How do you like that, and what makes you tick that way?
Well, first of all, that's high praise. Thank you very much. And it takes 2 to connect. Yeah. It's nice to be able to put 2 people together, but Lee Steinberg, one of the most respected people in the world, comes wanting to connect, wanting to help. And I think that's the biggest thing we try to bridge with people is this is a deal-making conference. This is an outcome conference, and we do hold ourselves accountable to their outcomes. So we want people to come, not speak and leave, not put your walls up. Come and open yourself up, learn, share, and you will make new friends, new partners, and you should be able to improve whatever goals or objectives you were looking to achieve when you came.
Tell everybody how they can be a part of this, especially this year, if they're coming in from out of town, but for years to come.
Well, thank you for that. Our website is CCON. It's Sports Entertainment Innovation is CCON. It's SEI-CON.org. That is our registration site. At the end of the day, again, I think people would say, why am I going to a Sports Entertainment Innovation Conference? You will have Rudy Rudiger, of course.
Yeah.
Greg Oden, Ahmad Green, Al Harringtons, and a lot of innovators and excellent people across the board. If you want to come somewhere and learn and be a part of something truly special, it's not just about sports or entertainment. It's really about gatherings of people that are in entertainment, in hospitality, in production, in education. So we do welcome people to come. It's not exclusive.
Yeah.
But if you're going to come, again, be comfortable talking to people, be approachable, and leave your mind open to great things happening.
Yeah, and you're encouraging young people to go that don't have those business connections, might be trying to make a connection there. That could be a life-changing experience. And that's really important because when I sit down with my sons at dinner and I tell them, I go, look, life's about connections. You could have a really good job and that job could be gone. You could have a really good boss or a mentor. God forbid something happens. You have to work off your connections that you have through life. And I want to share this story with Shawn as he's here. I don't want to get too emotional about it, but the last time I saw Pete Rose, my dear friend, was at CCON. And Pete was there, and he was talking to Rick Caro, a sports professor friend of mine, and he saw me, and Pete kind of just winked at me, and I had my son with me. And he was done, and we started to talk, and I could tell that Pete really didn't look his best. I could tell something was wrong with Pete. He looked much thinner. He didn't look as healthy as he did, and I noticed it. So I told Pete, I go, can you give my son 5 minutes? And he walked with my son, John, over to the corner by Virgin in a hallway, and he talked to him for about 10 minutes about life and the importance of your father and mentorship and all that. And, I gave Pete a big hug after that. And you've been through this because you know so many people. I felt like that was going to be the last time I would ever see Pete. And he passed away pretty shortly after that. And I remember just how important that was. And it really goes down to connecting and being at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you talk about opportunities. Mike Gottfried, whom I know you know very well from ESPN fame, one of my true mentors. He and Pete have been close forever. And Pete was my neighbor for many years in Panorama Towers.
Yeah.
A great Pete story. How many parking spots do you have? I said 2. He said, well, I have 3. So
he had he had another parking spot.
But Mike brought him to lunch. He came over for lunch with Mike, and we were all sitting together. And he ended up in the studio and then giving your son and people time. That's just, as you know, that's what Pete always was about. People need to understand he was truly a good man. We all have our challenges and our flaws, but that was a very good man at heart and cared about people.
Last one for me. Why are you so optimistic about business going forward with education in Las Vegas? You've been here a long time. I've seen the growth of UNLV, and I've seen the growth of their law school, their business department, hospitality, arguably the best in the world. Syracuse, one of the greatest institutions in the history of American education. When you see where the landscape is today, and you look at business and education, why are you optimistic going forward at 2026 that it's going to be smoother sailing ahead, considering how rough it's been the last couple of years?
Well, it's interesting is, we worked with MGM on the outdoor festival venues and the tragic Route 91 incident and with what the Golden Knights did. And I know it's odd why you're talking about these two things. I feel like that was the time when everything changed here. I think a community came together. I think now the validation of all these teams and organizations and the infrastructure build out. If you want to work and hustle, everything's hard. That's life. But here, I think people care. They want to help you. I think this is a very warm and embracing community, so be a part of it and try.
So with what the A's are doing coming to town, the success of Mark Davis and Allegiant Stadium, Dana White and UFC, Derek Stevens downtown, you mentioned Bellagio, MGM. I tell people, Vegas is not for everybody. Some people rather be in L.A., Hollywood, or New York City, but if you want to get into sports, education, tie that together, have a vision for business, do you think this is the glory days right now of Vegas? This is the time to be here.
I got here in 1987, and my parents came a year later, and they were talking to a realtor, Dylan England, back in the day, and they said, wow, I wish we would have bought sooner. The prices are out of control now.
87.
And he made a comment, it's always early. He made the comment, it's always early. And I think for Las Vegas, that's what you need to know. It's always early. Get in the game and get going.
Thank you, my friend. Always a good conversation. So tell everybody about the dates again, the time, location, all the information, and the website again.
So it is SECON, SCI-CON.org. Our event kicks off on July 7th with our Las Vegas Live event, then running the 8th and 9th with our main conference. And I don't usually do this, but with the nature of the conference, we say, if you're coming, we know who you are. My email address is sgarrity@wearecircle.com, A-R-E. Email me, and if there's something you need, if there's something I can do, happy to set you up, to accommodate, to talk to you. But it's about you, and we're honored to have the opportunity to do this, and thank you.
You're a good friend of mine. I'm proud of what you do, and thanks for helping my son along the way with some advice.
Well, he's a good man.
Thank you very much. Shawn Garrity, everybody. Appreciate that. SECON is here. It's coming up. If you want to be a part of that, especially young people who are listening and some of the other business people who should be associated with this. When we come back, I'm going to tell the story about my road trip to L.A. and what I saw with South Africa and Canada. SoFi. Did I put the curse on SoFi, the hex for the Raiders, or not? I'll get into that coming up as we continue on Raider Nation Radio.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by M Resort Spa and Casino, the official hotel of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Hurts, he's looking left. Pressure, package, hit from behind. Crosby the sack. A coverage sack to say the least. He had time to throw as Crosby flies over to the Raiders sideline. His 10th sack of the year, and the Eagles are going to settle for a field goal opportunity.
JT back with you as we continue on with the summer of the World Cup, which I've been dropping in a bunch lately because that's where I think we're pivoting to this summer. This is the summer of the World Cup in the United States of America, and we love our Canadian brothers to the north and the fans from Mexico in the south, but this has been a whirlwind sporting achievement for the United States of America, FIFA, the World Cup, all their partners and sponsors, Fox, Big Fox on television and FS1, and everything you're seeing along the way. So I went to the World Cup this past weekend. I want to recap it and just give you my opinion on that. Summertime radio, right? It's the summer. We tell some added storylines here, and maybe this could get you to go or to watch it a little bit more. I wanted to go to the World Cup for two reasons, really. Number one, a bucket list event for me. I think for what I do for a living, I need to check off bucket list events and say I've been to this, I've been to several NBA Finals, World Series, all of that, but I haven't been to a World Cup. So I now can check that box. And went to Los Angeles and SoFi and had a generous hookup to get tickets, which was very nice. Not going to be like I was sitting there scouring on secondary sites, but I got a bit of a story to that too. And I ended up going with my wife and my youngest son. My youngest son is a soccer head. He loves Manchester United, and he loves watching soccer. And that's great. Loves pro ball, loves the Raiders, loves everything, right? He loves sports. He's in that card-breaking industry, too. Part of one of his side gigs is they do card deals and card breaking where you go online and you open up these packs and you bid on these packs. So he loves soccer, so we were going to go. It was a fact that I was going to work on this and bring him. So quick story, I drove to Los Angeles, and I haven't driven to Los Angeles in 2 years because the last time I drove back from L.A., the Raiders were doing training camp in Costa Mesa, California. And that was an experiment to get out of the heat of Vegas and go to Orange County, Southern California, not too far from the beach. And I was out there on and off for a couple of weeks. And when I drove back, it took me 24 hours, and I was scarred mentally for life. If you've been listening to me for a while, you know this story. I was driving back from Southern California, and when I got through Barstow, I hit some traffic, and it turned out that it was one of the biggest fires that they've ever had. What happened was a truck tipped over with car lithium batteries, those electric batteries, and shut down the entire 15 freeway going both ways. So there's no way around it. You couldn't get around it. So basically my wife was lucky enough to call Barstow and find one of the last hotels that were available. And I had to backtrack off the freeway. I got to Barstow, and I had a hotel room for the night. I barely slept. I slept like 4 or 5 hours, and I got on the road the next morning. Freeway still closed, and I took the back roads. And the total time was 24 hours. So I said, I'm not doing the L.A. drive again. And it's a drive that I've done for most of my adult life. And it could go from my home to Manhattan Beach, Newport Beach, L.A. It could be anywhere from 4 hours and 15 minutes to 6 hours if you hit traffic. But you know you're going to get there. You have your car. You need a car in Southern California, so we drove. So when we left and we drove out on Saturday, because Friday night I hosted an event for Max Crosby and his foundation, we got up at 6 in the morning. We were on the road by 6:30. We're on the beach in Manhattan Beach, California. Before our hotel was ready to check in, we brought beach chairs, coolers, got in the ocean. There was actual waves. Sometimes when you're in L.A., Southern California, a lot of people around the country don't realize they have no waves. It's flat, or they're 1 foot waves. Waves were pumping, was in the ocean with my son, had a great day, stayed in Manhattan Beach, went to a great dinner. And then Sunday, the day of the World Cup, we Ubered to SoFi. Okay, here we go. We get into the Uber, no problem. Take us into Inglewood. Inglewood. If you've been to Inglewood, you know it's Inglewood. If you haven't been to Inglewood, you don't have to go to Inglewood. But if you've been to Inglewood, you know what I'm saying. And one of the tougher parts of town back in the day. But now they have 3 giant arenas. They have the Intuit Dome where the Clippers play. I think that was a couple of $1 billion with a B. It looks like the Sphere in Vegas. It's massive. Then you have SoFi, which has got to be the largest footprint for a stadium in America. And someone can check on this for me. Maybe other than Dallas and Jerry Jones, where he has some surrounding areas around there. And there's a baseball stadium next door, the old Ranger Stadium. But it's massive. And we got there pretty easy. And with our connection, we were able to go in and have adult beverages. And to get in, it was very much like a Super Bowl for the World Cup, where you had to line up and go through those turnstile of rows. Then you had to show your tickets on your phone, on the FIFA app. So you have to have the FIFA app. It's not like, hey, you got StubHub this. No. You got to have that FIFA app. My son took care of that. We got in. Then we got into this fan zone. We were able to have beers and drink and have a good time. And then we had to show our tickets again before we went into the stadium in SoFi. I've been there with the Raiders a couple of times. It's a marvel. It's spectacularly big. It's got 8 levels, right? And we had great seats. We were in a club section. We had a club behind us. We're kind of like on the 30-yard line of an NFL game. It would be beautiful. Access to the bar, all of that. My buddy who came with me didn't have a ticket. He bought one on a secondary site, had to transfer that ticket to the FIFA app. He paid about $500 for a good seat. He came with us, and we had a great time. Now, most of the fans who were there were Latino fans. There were Mexican fans, Mexican-American fans, or fans from Mexico, because I guess weeks ago, most of the fans of the Mexico team thought they were going to play in this game. But they played so well, they're not playing in that game. I don't know exactly why they weren't there, but you could tell. I would say 8 out of every 10 people at SoFi Stadium had on a Mexico jersey, or they were rooting for Mexico, and it was Canada versus South Africa. So the game was tied 0-0, no score in the 90th minute, went into stoppage time. Canada scored to win 1-0. I wanted actually to see it go into extra time and maybe penalty kicks to get a little bit of that excitement going, but Canada won. The South African fans were great, but there weren't many of them. And the Canadian fans, there were a lot of Canadian fans, but nowhere near as many fans that supported Mexico. But it was unbelievable jubilation. There were a couple of police officers and security that I saw along the way. I always go up to the cops and shake their hands if I got a second, or they're around, or we're up against a wall and I see a cop and I'll talk to them. And they had these cool badges. Instead of having a sheriff badge or a police badge, it was a World Cup police badge. It was something really cool. I actually took a picture of one. There was no one arguing, no fighting like an NFL game. You see NFL fights all the time on your X feed. Everybody was smiling and having fun. The lines weren't bad. It was just really good, and everybody was happy. Now, the quality of the game that I saw wasn't great. Canada's not very good. They got like one good player, and South Africa's not good at all. It was a miracle they got in over South Korea. If South Korea would have been playing, it would have even been better, because there's like 1.5 million people from South Korean descent that live in L.A. That would have been good. So we basically saw a game that had the talent of an MLS game. And you know I don't like the MLS. It's the minor league. So I didn't see great soccer talent like we see with Brazil, or you see with, Mbappe in France or Messi in Argentina. But the game had some moments, and it was a little bit exciting. And SoFi Stadium's different. I'm a big fan of Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. It's just much more intimate. You go into Allegiant Stadium, you know you're at a Raiders Stadium. They got the Al Davis torch, everything's silver and black. Artwork. They have a nightclub in the end zone. SoFi is very generic. It's like a giant Walmart of a football stadium, but the sight lines are gorgeous. There's screens above you. They have that wraparound screen. Fabulous. It's open air, even though there's a dome. It's covering you over. It's really thin, so you could feel the sun coming in. And then you get the breeze, and it was in the 80s, so it wasn't like blistering hot. It was really good. So we go out of there, and we're going to have a couple beverages. No rush. The game started right on time. The second those games started at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. The game was over at 2. On the dot, 2 p.m., we had a couple of more beverages. We're like, let's let the crowds die down. And then we went looking for a ride share. Oh, boy. That was interesting. And someone gave me good advice. They said, walk into the neighborhoods to call your Uber or Lyft. I go, what do you mean? It goes, don't stand right there on those streets, Manchester or whatever it is. There's too many people. The lot's overflown. So we walked into a neighborhood. We walked for 15 minutes into a neighborhood, nice neighborhood in Inglewood, and called an X. We ended up getting a Lyft instead of an Uber, and a guy picked us up. It was a little bit surcharged. It was a little bit charged up, but we got out of there and back to our hotel in about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we had a nice dinner. We had a nice dinner Sunday in Manhattan Beach with another friend of mine, and then we were going to leave, and my wife basically said, let's go. I go, what do you mean? She goes, why don't we drive tonight? Oh, I go, well, I thought you wanted to leave tomorrow. She's like, no, we can go now. There's no traffic. And we drove back, and instead of it taking me 24 hours, it ended up taking us a good 4 hours and 15 minutes. But getting out of L.A., it was like Grand Theft Auto, man. It was like a video game. There were cars coming on my right on the 605 freeway at 100 miles an hour. There were 3-lane changes with motorcycles, almost, equal to the ground, leaning over, going 90 miles an hour. I'm not used to that here where I live in Summerlin, Nevada on our roads. And I lived in L.A. for 10 years. It's not my first rodeo, but we drove out of there. We got home. My son got a nice World Cup American jersey. I got a cool hat. And we had a good time. And it was a bucket list, and I would highly recommend you going. Fans from all over the world are coming to the United States, and they're praising the United States. They can't believe we have good food at some gas stations. They've been to Buc-ee's. They've been to our bars. Scotland's drinking all of our bars out of beers. Everybody is happy to come to America. They're not mad at America. We got people in America that are mad at America. And we got people from coming overseas saying, bravo, great time. And one last thing at SoFi, after the game, the Latino fans who stayed there in the Mexico jerseys, they didn't leave. They were right at the bars. They were singing and dancing. There were DJs there having a good time. The World Cup brings people together. Okay, that doesn't happen in soccer all over the world. There's hooliganism. There's rivalries in Europe. There are teams that hate each other in the Premier League and fight at train stations, and you got to let fans leave and go on buses and get police escorts because of the hatred that local fan bases have for each other. Not the case at the World Cup, man. The music, South Africa's colors, the green, the yellow, the black, the combination of them on the SoFi screens was gorgeous. The field looked amazing there. And yeah, when I left, I had a beverage and with my son, I put a little hex on the Chargers there. Don't know if it'll work. Maybe Raider Nation will take out the Chargers and I'll have the ability to share with you my little hex I had there. But nice job. I mean, look, I'm not jealous of SoFi or Inglewood. Wouldn't want to live there. You don't want to go there afterwards and get a steak or walk around much. You're kind of in and out. You better know where you are parking-wise. You better know how you're getting out of there with rideshare. But the stadium is pretty impressive, and I agree with a lot of other people who have made this point. The World Cup final should have been in L.A. at SoFi Stadium over that dump, which is MetLife, where they're charging $100 a train ticket on the New Jersey Transit, and it's just MetLife was such a bad stadium build, which hasn't held up. And SoFi, for as much as I don't love it completely, it's fantastic for soccer and for bringing that many people together. So I had a good time. Canada won 1-0. There's more World Cup that we're talking about, and I'll be talking World Cup every time you hear me on the radio. Don't know when, don't know exactly when, but I'll be talking World Cup because it's going to guide us through the month of early July. And then right after early July, we get right into NFL training camps, and we're there. Sports radio in July isn't supposed to be hard. It is for many. It is for many who panic. They don't know what to do. Bring more people into the studio. Get me more co-hosts. Come up with more fun summer topics. Anything but sports. No, it should be a little bit more World Cup on every show, and everybody should embrace it because the energy, the excitement, and the passion is like nothing you probably will ever see, especially with so many people from outside this country paying tribute to the United States of America. And Norway just knocked out the Ivory Coast. 2-1. Eric Holland, 5 goals in 3 World Cup games. Norway advances after the Netherlands lost, the Dutch, and the Germans are out. The South Koreans are out. There's a lot of big soccer. Japan was up 1-0 on Brazil. They're out. So what you're seeing now is big countries eliminated. Remember, when the Cincinnati Bengals get eliminated from the playoffs, it's Cincinnati. It ain't America. When these soccer countries lose, the whole country is devastated. Not a city in the country. All of Spain, the whole country is rooting for Spain. You had 10 African nations, 10. A couple of them just lost. So England's playing the Congo. Huge game. England's minus 350. If the Democratic Republic of Congo wins, all of England is over. It's over for England. Incredible what's happening here. Serena Williams, oh boy. Okay, when we look at what's going to happen here, Serena just won the second set, 7-6. She came back, and she's up 2-1 in the third. This is massive because it looked like Serena was going to get bounced pretty quickly in straight sets. She came back and won 7-6, so we'll keep an eye on that. The other breaking news today, it looks like it's all but a done deal. Kawhi Leonard is going to leave the Clippers and go back to Toronto where he won a title. How much money was wasted, Ari, on Kawhi Leonard to the L.A. Clippers? Steve Ballmer. Plus, there's some fuzzy math. He was involved with some scandals. They're on some money, pay for play, whatever happened. Think about if you could wipe out Kawhi Leonard as a Clipper and say, Kawhi, you're just never going to play as a Clipper. We're going to keep you in Toronto or keep you in San Antonio. Think of the hundreds of millions, not the millions, hundreds of millions he made from the Clippers, and now he's gone with nothing to show for it.
152.4 over 3 years.
Ooh.
Yikes.
Oh, he wanted to play for the Clippers because he was from Riverside. Wanted to be close to home. And he took him for 150. Wow. This NBA is nuts. This NBA is nuts. You can take $150 million in 3 years and give a team nothing. Load management, hurt. You're load managing every day. Oh, Kawhi's not ready to play. Okay. How'd that work out? That's why the Lakers better be careful with Luka. Oh, boy, Luka. Because we're starting to realize maybe Dallas saw something in Luka that they didn't like. The beers, the work ethic, wanting to be home, back home in his country. Maybe they said something, like, we love Luka. He's great. But, being in the long-term business of Luka. Now the Lakers are in the long-term business of Luka. LeBron put out a statement thanking the Lakers, which I think was really cool. And that's what LeBron should have been able to do. So LeBron James moves on from the Lakers today. He's a very polarizing figure. The Lakers said, thank you, LeBron. And LeBron came back and said, no, thank you, in all caps. Truly an honor to wear the purple and gold while trying to continue the greatness and legacies that came before me. Hope I made a few proud during my stint. Prayer emoji, and LeBron has moved on. So a lot of people here are going to kind of rip him. Some people are going to say certain things. LeBron James won an MVP in the NBA Finals and a title with the Lakers. That's all he was brought over to do. He delivered. He won a chip. He won a ring for the Lakers. The Lakers are trying to keep pace with who? The Celtics, so every ring matters. He didn't win 3 or 4 with the Lakers. He won 1. And as I always say, you only need to win 1. You don't have to win multiple championships. You win 1, you're called the champion for the rest of your life. Nice to see Major League Baseball and the union, the MLBPA, donated $1 million to Venezuela for the earthquake relief. I cannot believe how many people are still missing in Venezuela. Okay? The thousands upon thousands of people presumed dead in Venezuela. A vibrant baseball and sports community and connected to a lot of baseball players who are connected to the major leagues. So devastating news right now. That search and rescue situation that is in progress. Anybody who can go out there and try to find a way to donate, I think that would be a good thing. So a lot of news today. We got things going on, which is interesting. A couple people asked me on this. I don't get political on the show until politics already come into the show. And then I have to report on it. The Supreme Court today upheld state laws barring transgender girls and women from playing on school athletic teams. So that was today. The court's 6-justice majority, conservative majority, which has repeatedly ruled against transgender Americans in the past year, ruled that state bans in Idaho and West Virginia don't violate the Constitution. So it's a sports headline today. It's the second biggest trending sports story today behind the World Cup. A lot of people are talking about it. I don't get political. I just read you the headline there as we wrap it up. So that's what they were able to do. The Supreme Court upheld the ban on transgender athletes. And there's going to be a lot more comments on that on podcasts and other shows. I'm just talking about it here as a headline because it is trending now for sports fans all over America. When we come back, we'll wrap it up. If you want to get in here one more time, this would be an important day to let me know where you think LeBron ends up. Where do you think LeBron will play? Be on record with me. So if you're right, I can pat you on the back. I think the choices are Miami, Cleveland, and the Warriors. Those are the front runners. Looks like the Warriors want them the most. You Warrior fans want them? Let me know. 702-365-9200.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the DeCasta Verde Law Group. If you get injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
It's unclear what the timeline will be for LeBron James. Right now, he's spending time in the Ohio area, spending time with his family. He's going to make a decision on his own time, but there's no question. All of the NBA's contending teams are in the picture here for LeBron James. Rich Paul will call LeBron James to express interest as soon as free agency opens up at 6 p.m. Eastern time tonight. But out of all the contenders around the league, teams expect the Warriors, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Miami Heat, all to emerge as among some of the suitors for LeBron James. Of course, you never know who could come out of the woodworks, who else could come aboard and pitch LeBron James on a vision to join a team and compete and be happy in his 24th NBA season.
That's Shams. That is Shams Charania. I've been a pretty frequent, historic look-back guy on summertime radio because I've been doing this 30 years to the day. I started Memorial Day, 1996 on the radio. Been on 30 years uninterrupted. That means I've done 30 summers of radio. And summer gets weird because people get weird. They lose their mind. They're like, oh my God, I can't be on the radio because it's slow. You're right, it is slow. It's much slower in the summer than it is in October, November, when we have the NBA, we have the NFL, we have college football. Every night we got a college football game. But what happens in the summer is from time to time, you get a blockbuster story. So let me tell you this right now. Nothing is going to eclipse the World Cup. Nothing. The analytics, Fox, what they're doing, that's going to be the biggest thing this summer until today. LeBron James will move the needle this summer and make it the biggest sports radio topic. And let me explain to you why. He's leaving the Lakers in the number 2 media market. The Lakers are a global brand. Most importantly, it's the NBA, which is a global brand all around the world. From Shanghai to Africa to Canada, basketball's big. It's not World Cup, not even close, but it's big. Then you get the fact that he's polarizing. Right? He's a polarizing figure. Everybody knows LeBron James around the world the way they knew Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali. He's one of those few international superstars. So you got that going for it. And then he's going to go blank. Where's he going to go? We don't know. So that makes the story big. You got a mystery. And they're going to milk this thing as long as they can. Or possibly not. LeBron is so big, Ari, that this thing doesn't have the ability to be stretched out. Because LeBron ain't going to put up with it. And the Warriors aren't going to put up with being a waiting game. And Cleveland's not going to put up with this, so this thing already could move pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of Aaron Rodgers and how much more awesome this situation is than that, because that gets drawn out, and it's like you start to kind of lose, your interest. Yeah. This is the opposite to me. Yeah, it's going to go quick, and it's going to be a big deal. So.
Yeah, it is, and the reason why it's going to be great. I mean, Sophie Cunningham. You see the thing where she's pointing to everyone. You know how big that is virally.
Honestly, yeah.
You know why it's viral? Because there's nothing going on. It's the summer.
Yeah.
There's not a lot going on. So Sophie Cunningham, who's a gorgeous supermodel, yes, she's a supermodel. When you get on Sports Illustrated, you're a supermodel. That you can check that box. I can't get this off my timeline. And then the other big story is Taylor Swift's wedding, as they're putting up a red carpet at MSG. And they had to rip up the red carpet because it was supposed to be purple. So Travis Kelce, this might be the greatest achievement by any player in the history of sports. He's pulling this off. And I'm not going to be the guy that say, what's the over-under on their wedding? I want people to be married and stay married. I'm not here to have that hex. Because I hexed at SoFi Stadium. I gave him the hex when I left. I'm not going to do that for this wedding, even though a lot of Raider Nation is not pulling for this wedding. But I got a cousin who works in Manhattan, and I was texting today. It's in lockdown. So the Knicks, when they were playing, were in lockdown. You couldn't get around MSG, couldn't get near it. Same thing again for Taylor Swift and a tight end who went to college in Cincinnati and plays in Kansas City is shutting down Madison Square Garden for his wedding. Imagine when John F. Kennedy Jr. got married. He got married in a tiny beach island in Georgia that no one ever heard of. No one could get an invite. It was the most private wedding in the history of paparazzi. Yes, they are making this wedding the exact opposite. And they want it private, too. They're not going to be able to sneak in. You're not going to be able to get into this, but that's going to blow up the internet here in a couple of days, all right?
Island or something. I mean, they could, I don't know, maybe that's just because in my
Too
mind,
much paparazzi.
I'd want private, but just something, I don't know.
Well, to their credit, the reason why they're doing the garden is they control the security. They have their own private security that's going to cost millions to make sure no one can get in there.
People, yeah, just coming in.
And you notice the clock went off in my head because I will not talk Taylor Swift wedding for more than 30 seconds. So stop. I don't want to get rid of what I always say I do. I'm the hardcore sports guy. I don't want to be the guy caught and clipped that I'm talking Taylor Swift's wedding. I just wanted to mention here. But real Laker fans right now are celebrating LeBron leaving. They are. Tomorrow, USA, Bosnia. Bosnia is going to play. I don't think that the United States should lose this game, but I believe I read something. They're 0 for their last 10 playing European teams. Is that accurate? So that's going to be tough. We'll see if they're able to do that. Wednesday, I would encourage everybody. That game is going to be at 5 o'clock. Everybody in Vegas should be in a sports bar. If you can get out, get into air conditioning, and get out of your house and be with people and put on the jersey. I got a couple of new World Cup T-shirts that I was able to get, so I'm going to be able to do that. That should be a lot of fun. And then we're keeping an eye on Serena. Oh, no. Serena's down 5-3 in the third. Serena is on the verge of elimination at Wimbledon. Maybe she can rally here and come back. The Kawhi Leonard deal is moments away, possibly from being a deal, according to Shams Charania. And the NBA free agency buzz with all the live updates today and what's happening. It's LeBron James, number 1, and number 2 is Kawhi Leonard. So we can count on that every summer. 4 years ago today, I was hosting the Jim Rome Show, and Kevin Durant broke the internet. Right? Remember with Brooklyn and all the other things that happen? It happens every summer. Ari, thanks for doing this. Appreciate you as always.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thanks to Shawn Garrity, who came in studio from CCon, the big sports and innovation convention that's going to be here at Bellagio. Excited to talk to him. Calls were good today, especially the guy that yelled at me and screamed at me, and we had to dump him. That was good. Haven't had that in a while. And Q's going to be back next week. We're off on Friday for the 4th of July. So we got a couple of good shows. Jesse Merrick will join us tomorrow. And Rod Woodson on my summer series, The Greatest Moments in the History of a Raider Alumni. Rod comes in after Phil Villapiano. Can't wait for that conversation. Have a great day.